Hi everyone, welcome back to Falcon's House. This is the second part of my watch vlog for Lost, covering Season 1, Episodes 4 through 6. These episodes blended together better, and I have a harder time remembering exactly which things happened when. The level of weird stuff happening went up, and they started making smarter decisions. They hunted a boar, found a source of water, they started rationing water and the food, and some people moved off the beach. All of these things are things that I thought should have happened sooner, and they were too delusional that they were going to get rescued right away. You got to plan for the worst and hope for the best. Considering that there is this unknown monster, and they also had seen a polar bear, too many people have been wandering off on their own rather than sticking together with groups of people. They really should set up a buddy system, and this probably would have helped prevent that the lady drowning while swimming if she had had somebody with her. The first part that's really surprising in this is that Jack starts seeing somebody that isn't part of the group, who we later find out is his dead father. Is the father a ghost? Is this a hallucination? Just part of his imagination? Is the heat and lack of sleep getting to him? Then, when he's looking for water, he finds the empty casket, which really ups the creepy level. Was his dad in the casket, and now it's empty? Does that mean that he's a zombie and he really does exist here, and he's just walking around? Or did the airline just screw him and send him back with an empty casket so that they could get the casket on the plane and not have to worry about the regulations of transporting a body? Jack seems to have had a rough childhood where he was beaten down by his parents, told that he wasn't good enough, that he wasn't a leader, that he shouldn't have protected the other kid. And so now he really doesn't believe that he is a good leader, even though he's become the de facto leader on the island, and everybody seems to follow him. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a vote at some point, and he ends up getting voted in as the leader. They also seem to need a police force or some sort of rules or laws to go along with that. Locke has a lot of development in these episodes. He seems to know more than he lets on about the crash and seems overly prepared for the survival. A whole box full of knives, and even for a walkabout that he was planning on going in Australia, that seems very excessive, almost like he knew something else was going to happen. Then they drop the biggest bomb of the series so far, and we find out that he was in a wheelchair prior to the crash, and his life wasn't very happy. His boss kind of made fun of him a lot, and he was kind of beaten down and unhappy, and he was calling what I assume is a sex hotline for just talking to the person. Then he goes to go on the walkabout that he had planned, and they denied him, and we're going to send him back, and then that's how he ended up on this flight. But then, once he crashes, he realizes that he can wiggle his toes, and then he gets up and is able to help. And so it's something that he's obviously always wanted, some sort of dream of his to be able to do this. I'm a little concerned that, all of a sudden he has muscles in his legs and whatever, because he wouldn't have had that if he was never using them before. And, that's how can he walk all of a sudden? Not just physically, but also what changed? What does this island do that causes him to be able to walk? Or was it just a crash? Did he have some sort of spinal damage that was now fixed? How does he know about Charlie's drug problem? I mean, maybe he has been paying closer attention to Charlie than we know of, but he seems that he knew something weird, and he knew where Charlie's guitar is and tricks him into giving up the drugs. Then when he's out hunting for the boar and he sees the monster, he doesn't seem scared. He seems surprised or curious is probably the words that I would use to describe what he was thinking. And then it doesn't kill him. He shows back up with a boar, and everybody's happy that he brought food back. There just seems to be a lot more with Locke than what we know right now. When Rose tells Jack that her husband is still alive, she seems very certain of it, and we know that he was in the tail of the plane and that it broke off separately. But I guess it is possible that it landed somewhere else and they could be alive. But you'd think at this point you would have started seeing or hearing other groups of people, since it's such a small... Well, we don't actually know how small the island is, I guess. Sun and Jin used to be in love, but then Sun was wanting out after he changed from whatever job he's been working with her father on. And she's probably regretting not leaving when she had the chance, because then she wouldn't be stuck on this island with him, or even stuck on this island at all. She would be having a normal life still. We find out that she can secretly speak English because of her plans to leave him and had taken English lessons. But my guess is that it doesn't say secret for very long. I mean, Michael knows now, and eventually probably other people are going to know, and then he'll find out. But at least that means that everybody on the island can now communicate. Like, before, they thought that they could only speak Korean, and they had no real way of communicating, and Jin would get violent and attack Michael and whatever, and they kind of stayed to themselves, whereas now they actually have a way to translate everything and work together more, even though he doesn't want to yet. My assumption is at some point that's going to change. Back in the past, why was Jin covered in blood after he started working for her father and doing whatever he tells him to do? The casual racism of Michael towards Jin is interesting. Saying those kind of people don't get along with him, or along with his kind of people, and generically calling them Chinese, even though, well, we know that they're Korean, and they look Korean to me. And then when Jack's looking for water, he finds Adam and Eve, and then tells Kate that they estimate that they've been dead for 40 or 50 years for the clothes to have deteriorated for that far. So how long had they been on the island? How long did they survive before they even got to this point? And it's like he said, somebody laid them to rest there, or they laid themselves to rest and waited to die. But it seems like a long time. Now we have 3 distinctive time frames. We have this very old group of 40 to 50 plus years, a group that was there 16 years ago, and now the current group. And potentially more groups, I don't know. Seems like a lot of people are finding themselves on this remote island. Maybe there's something else going on here. But the odds of being rescued, I would think, would go down. Now you know that other groups have been here and never found a way off the island, that you're not going to find the way off the island. You need to start preparing. So I like Jack's plan of moving inland towards the water. They could just set up a beach rotation of people to keep the fire going, maybe spell out help or whatever in rocks or sticks or something. And just have people down there at the beach every day as part of their job, but not have everybody down there all the time. However, they don't decide like this. They just decide everybody can make their own choice, and the group kind of splits roughly in half, with half going inland and half staying on the beach, wanting to be rescued. The other interesting, funny thing in this set of episodes was when they stand on the beehive. I think this scene almost was only written just to make the joke about Kate's breast size, and making the joke about them being C's instead of B's. Well, this is it for this set of episodes, and I will create another one when we get to the next set.